The second in the 2 eclipses is now upon us. And at the time this video is released, we are in the window between eclipses. Hi, and welcome back to Phoenician Priestess. Today we have the forecast and a card pull to do with the Virgo partial solar eclipse, which is a new moon eclipse happening in Virgo. And when we say it's a partial solar eclipse, it means it's not within 10 degrees of conjunction, so beyond 10 degrees to the nodes of the moon, in this case, the south node. And so in some senses, people will say, and it's true, that it means the effect of this eclipse is not as potent as the last one, perhaps not as strong energetically. That being said, it is still an eclipse, which is like 1000x the energy and intensity of regular lunations. And also the way it will impact you will depend strongly on your chart. So take a look at your chart, and if you find that you have planets or asteroids or important points within, I would say, 5 degrees either side, so 10-degree orb of 29 degrees of Virgo, then this eclipse is going to impact you even more. And just because it's a partial solar eclipse doesn't mean that it's not going to be felt, and doesn't mean that it's not big. So I do want to say that. It just means that the effect of the other one, the Pisces total lunar eclipse, blood moon eclipse that we had on the 7th of September, is stronger. And honestly, you can see that in the collective, can't you? You can see that the events that transpired after the blood moon, right, which were very intense, right? And the effect they've had on people's psyche and on society were very intense. Now, I stopped a few videos ago, I think actually in the last eclipse, from doing mundane astrology. Because I saw sometimes that accidentally, I didn't want it to trigger fear in people. There was that. And partially also, I feel as if some people majority of people like to listen to their individual forecasts. The only thing I did say while doing the collective of the blood moon eclipse is that it's similar to its name. And honestly, you can also look back in time when there were other blood moon eclipses. There is a theme of, and I said the loss of life force energy. There is a theme of, well, like its name would say, right? Blood, in a way, and its impact in terms of the collective. Now, the interesting thing about eclipses is whether it's a new moon eclipse or a full moon eclipse, it is seen that a few days prior and after an eclipse, the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth changes. And though lunar eclipses have the bigger reputation of affecting our emotion, and lunar eclipses are full moon eclipses, solar eclipses, like the one coming up, have a stronger effect in terms of the change in the ionosphere, and thus a stronger effect in terms of the change that we see in the electromagnetic field in Earth. And that also translates to how it affects humans. I'm reading off my notes from one of my Instagram posts last year that I wrote, and where a study found that prolactin levels increase during and immediately after solar eclipses, and that this increase is associated with behavior abnormalities. Now, the study was done on psychiatric patients, and what the study found is that the prolactin levels gradually decrease over 6 days after the eclipse. And this causes change in behavior, including more manic episodes, more depressive episodes, and yeah. So this matches what this, science is finally starting to catch up, even if it can't explain yet, but starting to catch up and understand what astrologers have said for a while, which is at the time during eclipses, emotions are heightened, and you might act in ways that are not normal to you, that you might not normally act. People will be acting in ways that are not normal to them, more likely to have a change in emotion, a change in, things like this, heightened emotions, etc. So just be aware of that, right? And those are actually more active around solar eclipses than lunar, although lunar also, this one was a total lunar, so this one was very, very intense, but the feelings are still going to be heightened around the solar eclipse. Just know, and I said this in my video from November 2024, it was all about mundane astrology, and it was talking about predicting Trump's election win. So go back and watch that. And that's also where I thought maybe I shouldn't do mundane astrology, because when I was talking about that video, it was triggered from polls on the Instagram, more my coaching Instagram versus my astrology one, because my astrology one didn't exist then, where people were saying they wanted to hear more about that and hear more predictions. And I kind of saw that there was a lot of fear when I continued to do predictions for the US and for the world overall. But this is the time that I would actually recommend you go back and watch that video, because I talk about how chaos in the next year, that video was made November last year, indeed in the next few years is going to feel heightened, and that division is going to feel heightened, and the media, the powers that be, are going to make that feel more and more and more heightened. And that is all part of the spiritual awakening, and how falling into the trap of division is playing into that, and what to expect. And the biggest thing is to remain grounded, to feel, to not shut off on your empathy, right? And to still voice what you believe in, but to stay grounded, at like the roots of a tree, and not let things sway you. Okay, I just wanted to talk about that because I'm sorry, I don't know why this top is doing that. Because I'm sure a lot of people here, let me just fix, a lot of people have that in their minds, right? Okay, now let's jump back to the eclipse story. Now, the eclipse is happening on September 21st at 29 degrees of Virgo, the critical degree, the anaretic degree. And this is all while Saturn, which is in retrograde and just entered Pisces, the opposing sign of Virgo that sits at 180 degrees, was at 29 degrees. At the time of this eclipse will be at 28 degrees, but had activated the anaretic degree at an opposing angle. Saturn in retrograde is still opposing this eclipse, though, by 1 degree. So Saturn is still playing a part of this eclipse. This is one of a few fascinating aspects that are affecting this eclipse. So today, since I'm back to using my professional camera, unlike last time's video, it's a bit higher than my notes. So I apologize if my eyes are jumping back and forth a lot. Okay, so one of many aspects that are interesting about this eclipse, and we'll get into that in a second. What I want to first talk about is that this is reminding you of what I call the Virgo Pisces sandwich. This is the second Virgo new moon that we have this season, and the Pisces total lunar eclipse came in the middle of them. We actually had a Virgo new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo, the starting degree of Virgo, on August 23rd, 2025, like last month, and that was at the starting degree. And here we are now with the second Virgo new moon at the ending degree, and this one is an eclipse. And so, excuse me, one sec. And so, this is further telling a story about where your Virgo Pisces axis is hitting, and the relationship between those two things, and those two things that may be opposition. And this is saying that stuff that came up for you around had something happen around August 23rd. Something did happen to me the day before. They will somehow come up. There's a story. That story is coming. There's the next chapter to that, the next energy burst, either accumulation, an ending, a starting, like something tied to that, something that maybe started and then is getting restarted or recontinued or ending or something, right, will come up again in that time. So if some kind of issue or lesson or opportunity, whatever, opened or happened around that time, it'll come up then. If a person entered your life around that time, they might pop up again. If you had an argument around that time, you might fix it again, etc. Some things like that. The eclipse will start at 10:29 a.m. PST and will end at 2:53 p.m. PST, lasting 4 hours. But just as a reminder, because I've talked about it a lot, the eclipse window is longer than that, but this is the actual time of the eclipse. The energy and the event likelihood is, of course, peaking, and the eclipse is the most felt, also internally, psychologically. Energy feels most intense. The effect that I talked about, the prolactin on the brain, the emotions, is the most intense around this peak, and the few days building up to the eclipse and the few days after, right? That study that was done on mental health patients had it 6 days before to 6 days after. Astrologers tend to say the most potent the week before, the week after. Astrology knew thousands of years before. Science is only catching up now, and yet I still have people from my old tech life always trying to argue about astrology, yet they've never even experienced it. Okay, and but The events unfolding tied to this eclipse, I would say, are up to a month before to a month after. That is especially true in this case because we have the blue moon-esque new moon Virgo sandwich of the first new moon, August 23rd, and this eclipse on September 21st. And sorry, my dishwasher is going off in the background, so I don't know if the audio is capturing that. What's also special about this partial solar eclipse is that it is an equinox eclipse, means it's recurring around the time of the autumn equinox. So this is representing a turning point of energy in the year that the eclipse is amplifying. Okay, let's see. So let's talk about all the overall story themes. I talked a lot about the Virgo Pisces sandwich. Now, just to sort of continue, around the August 23rd would have been kind of like aha moments or something introduced, some kind of story introduction or idea that started to seed or something started to seed in terms of fate. The eclipse that happened around September 7th, 8th, the Pisces one, that would have brought some kind of culmination, truth revealed, dissolving illusion, and lighting up your Pisces house, which you may not have seen is tied to the changes that are happening in your Virgo house. And then here we're at the karmic closure or a new beginning in the Virgoic themes. As this kind of theme of endings lead to new beginnings. Ending of things introduces another thing, or ending in how things are done introduces a new chapter in how they'll continue to be. So like this actually is creating one of the most potent eclipse arcs in years, especially with the intensity of the last eclipse. And so just a reminder, what happens and leaves and starts and goes in and enters at around eclipse time is fated, right? And in this case, it is clarifying, it is purging, it is newly creating, and it is tied to karma, and it is tied to the divine, and it is fated. Now, in terms of the other aspects, I mentioned that Saturn in retrograde is opposing this eclipse. We also have Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, 0 to 1 degrees of Aries, also in opposition to this eclipse. So we have a Saturn-Neptune opposition to this eclipse. Saturn retrograde being at 28 Pisces, and we talked about Neptune. Now, this is bringing up a theme of a razor's edge between clarity and discipline versus illusion and chaos, reality checks versus escapism, structures dissolving and being rebuilt. There's a kind of also a newness, a new birth in ideology, yet at the same time, and in ideological thinking and in idealism and in beautiful things and in dreams coming true. Yet with Saturn there, a reality check coming at the same time. What structures do you need? What discipline do you need? What truth bombs do you need? What do you need to commit to make something that seems too good to be true come true? To make something that, feels like a dream come true, a reality, etc. We also, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. At the time of me recording this video, Mercury is in Virgo. I was going to say Mercury is in Venus. Virgo rules my 7th house of love, which is where I have my Venus. Mercury is in Virgo, which is the planet, which is the sign which Mercury rules. Mercury also rules Gemini. But at the time of this eclipse, Mercury will be around 4 to 5 degrees of Libra. And it will be, and at the same time, Venus would have just entered Virgo and will be at 2 degrees. And Mars will be at 29 degrees of Libra, the anaretic degree, in the same house and the same sign as the ruler of this eclipse, Mercury. So that means that, themes of justice, themes of love. Oh, I'm so sorry. Themes of justice, themes of love, themes of beauty, themes of what is right, what is wrong, themes of diplomacy are going to be active overall in the collective and leading to a lot of the energy that's coming through in this eclipse, and also in your life. And where Libra rules in your life is going to be kind of a pump to the energy of where it's coming out in the house where Virgo rules, right? And we'll talk about that more in each sign. That also means that, tied to this eclipse, what's being emphasized is communication, contracts, agreement, justice, diplomacy, relationships, words and decisions, law, and words and decisions now carry karmic weight. I'm not going to lie, because this new moon eclipse is conjuncting the South Node, because the ruler will be in Libra, because the ruler is in Mercury, this is very much giving return of someone from the past with some kind of a message or an idea or thought or change, or you having a change about them, and sort of either a theme to do with something where you felt wronged and want justice, or a theme to do with love. And words here, a message here, or intellectualization here is playing a big part. And because this is because this is an eclipse, where this in the house, in the sign where the South Node is, that's the theme of either the past or a purge. It's not always a purge, right? This is a new moon at the end of the day, which is a new start. We also have a grand trine, or what is sometimes called the finger of God, or a grand kite, which is being caused by trines to this eclipse from Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, which are forming this harmonious aspect. And this talks about collective breakthroughs, technological revelations, fated events, and innovation. I'm going way above the time I allocated for this. I'm actually leaving to a trip after this video. In between two eclipses. So it's going to be a big one for me. Okay. Anyway, and it's something that has been on my bucket list to do since 2021. So I'm pretty excited. Anyway, this also brings shifts in networks and communication systems. And then we also have Vesta, an asteroid that is about deep, deep, deep devotion and nurturing in Sagittarius, which is sextiling themes because of the angle relationship of sacred service and devotion that add another layer. It's at the beginning of Sag. All right. So did I miss anything? Yeah, so those are all the big aspects and transits happening at the same time. TLDR, endings, beginnings, somehow tied together, even though this is a new moon eclipse. Something must close to make space for new, or we can't keep doing the way we were doing things before, so we have to start doing them a different way. Communication, balance, negotiation, partnership themes woven directly into this eclipse. Relational and aesthetic values infused in some of Virgo's purification and Virgo's wanting to ground. Critical, decisive, sometimes cutting energy in relationships or in justice or in contracts. Karmic testing, accountability, karma, lessons, fate, confusion, illusion, spiritual awakening, dissolving boundaries. In general, that's the theme of eclipses, especially because we're in the axis is dawn is a Piscean axis. It's Virgo Pisces. But the fact that we have it in opposition of Neptune. Neptune is all about confusion, illusion, spiritual awakening, and all about connecting more to the divine, right? Either internally or collectively. With Uranus and Pluto trining here, Uranus on a collective level can bring a lot of chaos and a lot of change fast. And on a personal level, same thing, obviously. And Pluto as well. Pluto is societal level endings and purification, purging of the dark, bringing the dark to the surface, also ties to aspects of spiritual awakening. Pluto is Hades. So, but this is a trine, it's harmonious. So it's bringing evolutionary breakthroughs, radical shifts, collective turning points. And on a positive note, which might not feel this way when you look at things on social media and in the news, a really big opportunity to increase the consciousness of humanity and to bring us closer to collective awakening. And with Vesta in the Sagittarius early degrees sextile, we have a focus on devotion, tending the sacred flame, and aligning with belief in service. And lastly, a purging of outdated Virgoan patterns and how it affects you. That's things like overworking, perfectionism, self-criticism, and clearing that karmically, and lessons where that's affected your life coming up. Okay. Anything else? I would watch your words at this time because, especially, with Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, being in Libra, with Virgo overthinking at times, the energy here is words can really carry permanence, and decisions, contracts, conversations begun here can really shape a lot of things in the next 6 months. So you're going to want to be aware of that. There's also divine feminine energy seems to be very active at this time with the eclipse and Venus in Virgo, and with the North Node in Pisces and Vesta in Sag. And the ruler of the eclipse in Libra. This is a lot of healing through devotion, sacred service, love, the female, the feminine, sensuality, sexuality, and aligning love and all of these themes with practicality and re-embodying these values within our lives and within the collective. You know, collectively, in terms of mundane astrology, this is bringing a collapse of illusions in politics, religion, authority figures. This is institutions dissolving or being tested. This is leaks, scandals, disillusionment. This is time again for spiritual awakening and inviting us to reflect mirrors internally on ourselves. This is bringing negotiations, treaties, international justice matters that are highlighted. Expect very heated debates, very heated emotions, and diplomacy shifts caused to that. This is bringing sudden breakthroughs that could be tied to themes of death and how it affects the collective, Pluto in Aquarius, and how it causes chaos in how we communicate and intellectualize, Uranus in Gemini. On another hand, this could mean sudden breakthroughs even more in technology, furthering this AI race and AI run and the intersection of that in our life and consciousness, and communication system and social structure. This could be a global internet tech revolutionary movement time. This is bringing a resurgence in spiritual devotion, religion, philosophy that could reemerge in the collective, either as a dividing or unifying force. This is coming from Vesta and Sag, as well as some of the Plutonian effect and the Neptunian effect, and arguably also the Saturnian effect. And with the South Node in Virgo, this could bring societal critique of bureaucracy, of broken systems, and karma boiling up for a lot of societies. Look what's happening in Nepal in some ways, right? Okay. So just a reminder too that this eclipse, now we're past the halfway point with this eclipse of the entire eclipse window, but it will continue on till October 21st in terms of, the latter end of this window. Although the energy is the most potent, closest to it. I hope you don't hear my dishwasher. And eclipses foretell things to do really with the next 6 months. So if listen, I know I just talked about a lot of stuff, and I know the energy in this collective right now is quite heavy. This was supposed to be a 5-minute eclipse intro, and I think instead it's become a 25-minute, 30-minute, I don't know, eclipse intro. But I will say overall, I'm feeling a lot of good energy for this eclipse, which might seem insane based off of how a lot of people are looking on things around them. Biggest thing I will say is ground. Go touch grass, hug a tree, sit in the sun, and connect, and know that there has to be balance, right? The sandwich of Virgo and Pisces is and the ruler being in Libra is asking you really for balance. And all the other big things in this eclipse are saying bigger picture, purification, balance. Remember how things affect the body. Remember that we are spiritual beings contracted to live here on earth, but spiritual beings primarily, and that this earth timeline is finite. And that the eclipse with these trines, and eclipse, I feel it is bringing blessings to a lot of people in the form of a lot of new beginnings, even if there's been purification of things you've had to purge, either internally or externally, whether it's ending a chapter of your life, ending a relationship, ending a job, ending a way of thinking that was toxic, etc. All right, without further ado, let's go into the all signs. Please remember to prioritize your rising sign, which is your ascendant, which if you're new to astrology is not just determined by the day you were born. You could calculate it online for free. Then also listen to your sun and moon. In the last video, there was a very interesting discussion that broke out in a few comments about people feeling like their sun was actually more relevant to them than their ascendant. Because this is a general reading, that's why we say listen to your sun, moon, and rising. Because as we're doing general readings, it's not the same as reading your natal chart, and how things are positioned around different parts of your natal chart will affect what part of your chart is getting the most activated in this time. Of course, nothing is as descriptive and as freakishly accurate and makes you question everything as in the accuracy as a one-on-one reading. And if you'd like to schedule one with me, you're welcome to do so, link in bio. If you're having a hard time finding time for that, feel free to reach out and we can work some time out, because it has been pretty busy. Or schedule, of course, with someone else. I do recommend getting personal readings at the time of eclipses and solar returns, your birthday. And without further ado, let's actually get into this. Aries, you're not going to want to miss the beginning, where I talk all about this Virgo solar eclipse happening at 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, for you, this eclipse is falling into your 6th house of health, work, routine, service, pets, your body, in some ways, discipline, people you work with, daily routine, etc. And it's bringing a new fated beginning in how you manage your daily life. Outdated patterns in either health or work are ending, making space for cleaner and more supportive systems. You could this is a great time to start a new diet, a new gym membership, etc., a new way of eating. Maybe you suddenly, but it's an eclipse, so it could be something drastic, right? Like if you were vegan, maybe now you're carnivore, or maybe you start getting a lot of signals to somehow change a way you're doing things, you're living. And this is second new moon in Virgo in 1 month. So if you think back at what happened on August 23rd, the themes could have started to introduce around there and are now being doubled. What began as an experiment or realization in August is now becoming a decisive commitment, right? This is also giving you a chance to purge where you might be being hypercritical of yourself when it comes to your daily work life, your how you work, what you do day in and day out, your routines, your body, your health routines. And if you've been so hypercritical that it's putting you in decision analysis, or that it's just making everything negative, this is allowing you to purge and dissolve hidden patterns here, and to realize that this is the time to rebalance and not be so harsh there, to purge that Virgoan theme and create a new. It's also highlighting how your fears or your mind, your mental health, your spiritual existence, your spiritual habits, spiritual relationships, your connection to the divine, traumas you have, your mental health, how they might have been affecting burnout or your daily life, daily routine, how you're working, and your body. And Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 7th house. And so this is tying your new habits that have to do with these places to your partnerships, your contracts, your client relationships, or themes related to how you feel about you and yourself when it comes to love, in a way. Expect decisive conversations for some, renegotiations, or relational turning points where balance has to be restored. Let's see, what else? And with Saturn active in this opposition with this eclipse, this is demanding accountability around your inner world, around your mental health, around your mindset, and how it's affecting your success daily, your daily ins and outs, your daily routine, your body, how you show up, how you study, all of these things. And you could be experiencing as well, especially with Neptune here, you're seeing that perfectionism, overwork, escapist behaviors are not sustainable, and that ignoring your mental health or spiritual practice, not sustainable. You could be experiencing brain fog, vivid dreams, spiritual overwhelm if you ignore this, or if you ignore the signals your body is sending. Sensitivity at this time is heightened. And you could also possibly, with how Uranus is trining this eclipse, expect sudden changes to do with either siblings or how you intellectualize, or school, education, courses you're taking, exams you're doing, transportation, technology, communication tools that somehow support or change or affect your daily routine, etc. And the trine is also coming from Pluto. So there could be some kind of shift for you. This is in your 11th house, in your dreams, your long-term goals, or your friendships, your sense of of community or networks that somehow affect this showing up daily, etc., and how you kind of organize and take leadership here. You could be having an urgency to declutter. You could be getting frustrated with chaos. You could be craving better sleep and nourishment. You could be having heightened sensitivity to noise or vivid dreams, or just wanting to have some kind of structure and order. And this is what it's calling you towards. And, you know, this is something that could be ending a draining job or ending a draining daily structure you didn't like. And this is a time that's allowing you to create a new opportunity in what your daily life looks like, in a new opportunity of lasting change in your routine, a lasting new health regimen. Maybe you've been trying to have a health, weight, muscle, immunity breakthrough, and suddenly support pops up or commitment comes from nowhere. And this is a time where it will strongly sustain. Okay, let's pull cards. For you, there's the message here. And remember, with tarot, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Then this is just a quick message. There's a theme here of releasing constraints, and that will bring in a river of blessings. And some of the constraints are coming in from your daily mind, from the self in that sense. And some of the constraints are coming from how you are actually handling your daily life and your routine. And there are things that you have been ignoring in terms of self-accountability that cannot be ignored any further. Okay. Aries, I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions, observations, anything, leave it in the comments below. Thank you. Hello, Taurus, Taurus suns, Taurus moons, Taurus risings. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse, happening at 29 degrees of video of Virgo. You don't know how many times I've done that. Forecast. Please watch the intro, which dives into this, as well as collective predictions and all the aspects and everything. And you're not going to want to miss that, as well as eclipse timing. This eclipse for you is bringing a new chapter that is fated, a new beginnings in terms of romance, creativity, children, joy, connecting to your inner child, entrepreneurship, hobbies, etc. This could be a new beginning in how you express yourself, in how you love, how you create, and old ways perhaps of seeking validation, because fifth house, which is active for you, is all about embodiment of the self as well, and self-expression. Old ways of how you sought validation or joy could end, and a new authentic expression cycle can begin, and also a new romance can begin, right? It's very romance oriented as well. And here, because this is the second Virgo new moon in a month, the last one was August 23rd, pay attention to what could have started to stir around then for you, either internally or externally, or in terms of, I would say new beginnings that came. Because now, 1 month later, you're seeing a storyline somehow come full circle. So seeds that could have been planted around then, or new things introduced to you, could now reach a point of commitment or karmic clarity. And this eclipse is part of the Virgo Pisces sandwich, which I go more into in the beginning. And this sandwich is illuminating the entire Virgo Pisces axis for you, which is your 11th house versus and with your 5th house. And so this could be revealing truths about your social circles, your goals, how your networks, your long-term dreams, and pulling the focus back to that relationship, seeing how that ties to yourself, to how truthfully you were embodying yourself, to how you were showing up. And this Virgo eclipse is asking you to focus on your heart and reminding you that joy and love must lead forward before you give to the collective. But also, if you're not true to yourself, that affects as well your social circles, and that there has to be a balance there as well. Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 6th house. And so this is linking these creative, romantic, self-expression, entrepreneurial storylines to somehow your daily routine, your work, your health, your physical health, your body, etc. So expect, maybe a new knowledge coming in, messages or conversations around how that intersects for you, or around how children, fertility, remember 5th house is also that, love, art, romance, all these themes for different Tauruses. This is going to be, some it's going to be the wanting to have a child or your own children theme. Some it's going to be romance and fling and sex. Some it's going to be art, hobbies, creating something, whether it's a business or a music video or whatever. And some, it's going to be how truthfully am I embodying myself and comfortable with being in the spotlight, etc. So yeah, expect conversations, learnings, intellectualizations around how that is linked to you in terms of also your physical health, your routines, your daily life, right? You could be negotiating boundaries between work demands and time for play or love. At the same time, with the opposition to Neptune and Saturn, there's karmic lessons to you coming about belonging and soul tribe and your place in that, either in one way or the other. And you could realize that, you know, there could be lessons in how you are showing up truthfully or not showing up, how you're longing for one, or a new commitment, the required commitment, self-accountability when it comes to that. Saturn demands maturity in deciding who your true allies are and in how you're going to show up for that. At the same time, if there was idealization around that, you could feel disillusionment, or you could have realizations how you could have played a part in things not working out, or how it was not the right thing for you and you wanted a more aligned soul tribe. At the same time, with Uranus and Pluto doing this kind of finger of God kite grand trine, you're having sudden financial or self-worth breakthroughs that are supporting everything in your fifth house, either romance or creative projects or self-expression or having kids, etc. And you're also having shifts in your career, public role, leadership, life purpose that are somehow empowering how you're showing up when it comes to the creative, romantic life, etc. And so, yeah, you could be craving more romance, more inspiration, sudden disinterest in shallow friendships. You could be ending a draining friendship to focus on love, or you could just be deciding to do that and it ends up not being the right decision. Who knows? But that could be how you think about it. You could be launching a creative project with public visibility. You could be having important talks about children, renegotiating work-life balance. For a lot of Taurians, there is a child theme here. So you could be in the midst of a pregnancy, or getting pregnant, or giving birth, or bonding with your child, or focusing on a romance fling, or birthing, even thinking about it metaphorically, like a project. This could be a big time to advance projects that you've had, etc. Remember that eclipse energy unfolds for 6 months. So even if the portal is the most active, especially right now, but on a longer scale until October 21st, but this is something that is a 6-month thing until the next eclipses. Okay, let's see your card. Okay, Taurus, for you, there's a message here of needing to take sacred action and focusing your focus, I guess, your willpower, your creation energy into something sacred, something that you've been ignoring doing or hesitant making a move on that needs your attention and that is somehow tied to your embodiment of your own truth, etc. Okay, if you have any questions at all, please leave the comments below. And Taurus, I will see you in the next video. Hi Gemini rising, suns and moons. Welcome to your partial solar eclipse in Virgo video. To learn more about this eclipse, the collective reading, the different aspects affecting it that are part of your predictions, the timing, everything, and when it's peaking, etc., go watch the intro. For you, dear Geminis, this Virgo eclipse is falling into your 4th house of home, family, roots, and inner foundation. And this could also be a relationship with women in your life, including your mother, women that kind of tend to have a more nurturing effect. And so for you, it's a fated reset that is taking place in all of these realms, in these emotional bases as well. So this could be old family patterns, living arrangements, or inner security habits that could end and open the door for you to a new cycle of beginning and belonging. Ask yourself, right, what Virgoan things also need to be purged a little bit in order to help let this new beginning bring in what Virgoan aspects to do with self-criticism, over worrying, being a helicopter parent or helicoptering in life, being too controlling, being self-critical, critical of others, being a perfectionist. I'm trying to find somewhere to put my arm. Where in your life could, in things to do with your home, family, roots, parenting, foundation, ties to all of that, living arrangements, does that need to be purged? And because this is the second new moon in Virgo in 1 month, think of themes that maybe started end of August, around August 23rd, right? These themes are now doubled. And this could be also either the themes are doubled or the storyline tied to that is coming to some kind of a next step or a conclusion. So it began maybe as a fresh start with where you're living or your living situation or family, etc., or your internal world, or something to do with the mother in late August could now reach some kind of turning point or pop up again. So if your mom was visiting you, in August, maybe then she'll visit you by the end of this, let's say October 21st, the end of this eclipse. If you had issues in who you're living with around then, maybe you guys have a conversation now. If you had themes in terms of where is my bad habits that affect my living situation, maybe I'm being too nitpicky with people I live with, too controlling of how my home is, that comes up for you to reevaluate and purge. That's kind of how you would apply this. And with this Virgo Pisces sandwich story that I go more into in the intro, there could be, somehow what's affecting how you're showing up in your family or showing up in your living situation or showing up in your internal world is somehow tied to your career, your public image, your life direction, your purpose, or truth bombs or endings or purgings or heightened emotions that have to do with that world. This eclipse is emphasizing how that affects your home, private, internal life. So events that happened in earlier September to do with that career kind of stuff could be directly influencing what happens in your home and family life now. And with the ruler of this eclipse in Libra, your 5th house, this is linking your home and family reset to matters of children, romance, creativity, pleasure, entrepreneurship, and a need to reconnect to your inner child. Conversations with partners, children, or about creative projects could somehow play into a lot of these shifts that you're feeling. And with the opposition to Saturn retrograde and opposition to Neptune, there is some kind of disillusionment or confusion in career matters that are highlighting a need for you to have a sturdier emotional foundation. Professional illusions could dissolve, so you could rebuild a home base with clarity, or they could be emphasized and trying to push you into some sort of a next step. And there's some kind of karmic lesson happening in your life right now with career and public role that is directly affecting your home life, and that's asking you to reconcile the weight of expectations with your private self and making you realize it's actually affecting your family and home life and your emotional part too much, and that's having you to have a reality check or need for structure or commitment, etc. At the same time, you're having unexpected changes perhaps in your identity, your body, or your personal direction that are having a positive effect in how you're showing up in your daily life, in your family, etc. You could surprise yourself with a bold move, a relocation, or inner shift that frees you, and that positively affects how your family, home, living situation, where you live. This could be someone moving, this could be better home life, etc. And at the same time, with how Pluto is playing here, transformation in your beliefs, your higher learning, how you view the world, how you view politics or international connections or where to live or your overall life direction is also going to positively change or impact your housing, living, family decisions. Travel or study or something or change in life philosophy could be impacting where or how you live. Okay, let's do your card pull. Balance. So your theme here is nothing, your message is nothing in excess. There's a part in your life where you are out of balance you are too much in perhaps the mental space, too much in creating so much structure that you stay stuck in ideation and you create like a glass prison or wall around yourself. And in order to create more stability, in order to stand more firmly, in order to be more rooted so that things around you don't affect you as much, you are in need of balance, and you are out of balance right now, and the universe is trying to get attention to your life of where you could be out of balance. Okay, Gemini, I will see you in the next reading, and if you have any questions, I also love to know what resonated and why and how. Please leave that in the comments, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, Cancer, Cancer suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. Please watch the intro to learn all about this eclipse, when it's happening, the timing, when it's active for, all the aspects and transits that are affecting it. That will be a part of the forecast, as well as my collective predictions and how it's affecting the collective on a personal prediction level for the collective, and also on a collective mundane astrology level that I go into a little bit, which I've avoided doing for the last few months. Etc. Okay, so for you, my dear Cancers, this eclipse is bringing a fated new cycle that begins in how you think, how you intellectualize, how you analyze, how you speak, how you interact in your daily life, etc., and with others. And for you, it's really about, you could be feeling this more internally, although of course messages or communications could come in as well. But you're releasing and having finally strides and new beginnings in, getting rid of over-explaining, micromanaging, distracting yourself, procrastination, keeping busy with low-value tasks that could fall away, to create space for cleaner, more intentional communication, more balanced communication. You're getting rid of over-criticism as well, with yourself or on others. This could also bring a new beginning in terms of relationships with your siblings or your siblings' lives, or learning, contracts, local environment, communication, etc. Meaning, like, you could do a course. Yeah, it could affect you on social media, a new beginning here. Some of you, third house also can be cars. You could have something to do with, like, buy a new car or something. And because this is the second new moon happening, sorry, that's my dishwasher. Because this is the second new moon in Virgo, I hope you can't hear it, happening in 1 month, within a 4-week time frame, because it was August 23rd when the last one happened. That means something you began late in August in the realm of this, local connections, neighbors, siblings, study, communication, new way of thinking, new way of viewing the world, can now receive a decisive commitment point, or can come full circle, or can just reemerge again. This eclipse is part of the Virgo Pisces sandwich story, which I explained more at the beginning. But this kind of indicates that something to do with the new way that you're communicating, thinking, intellectualizing, analyzing, or indeed, if you're one of the siblings, neighbors, cars, social media, message, story, is somehow tied to where you have Pisces, to changes in your philosophical view, your worldview, your belief, higher education, long-term vision. And now this eclipse is grounding those big revelations into practical steps, into daily things, new study, new contracts, new teaching, new courses, new local projects that support your larger philosophy, enacting those on a daily life, watching how you communicate and talk to others, how you show up, if you're embodying your truth, if you're censoring yourself and releasing Virgo imperfection, etc. And with Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse in Libra, your 4th house, this ties these communication, intellectualization, or sibling life, etc. changes to your home and family and your living situation and your internal emotional sphere. So that means conversations around housing, family dynamics, or property could somehow be reshaping your daily environment and your agreements. Changes to do with here are giving you opportunities to present this newness, new opportunity, new way of thinking, new beginning, etc. And with this eclipse opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces and Neptune in Aries, this is bringing accountability around higher education, travel, publishing, or spiritual belief somehow. This is asking you to commit to a disciplined study, to refine your philosophy, to take responsibility in your spiritual life and how you view the world, and how these choices are directly feeding into your new communication path. And this is just further emphasizing too that changes that have to do with life philosophy, travel, living abroad, something is changing the way you view, think, talk, and show up in daily life and what you want to communicate and put out there. And then also that there's somehow something stirring with your career, your public image, your life purpose, your leadership. You could be feeling a heightened sense of purpose or spiritual calling, and you could be wanting that to tie with your professional life. But it's still raw, it's still unformed, it's still in the inspiration phase, and it could be feeling overwhelming, but somehow it's pushing you again, it's pushing that change. And really this is like a lasting, noticeable change internally in terms of how you think, intellectualize, and allow that to go out in the exterior, etc. And unexpected changes to your mental health, your subconscious, your spiritual life could further support these breakthroughs in communication and mindset. Dreams, intuition, or hidden information could come to light suddenly. You could be having heightened intuition. And then Pluto, with the effect of Pluto and Aquarius, with this kite as well, you could have deep transformation around intimacy in your case, and transmuting trauma, shared resources, or financial entanglements that make stronger your ability to set better agreements, to stand up for yourself, to speak clearly, etc. So, you could be also having if you're a writer, I forgot to say, writer or a speaker, this is a very big momentous time. You could start a new writing project, a new speaking project, new speaking contracts, up level your skills, right? There's a strong urge here to write, to speak, to journal, heightened sensitivity to your words, other people's words, and their impact. Mental fatigue if you resist change, or you resist expressing what you really want, or you hold yourself in. You could be having prophetic dreams, or your body responding to stress through your nervous system with a lot of tension, especially in the shoulders, hands, or your throat chakra, very active right now. You could start a new certification that is somehow life-changing, or change your relationship with your siblings, have a new beginning here, or you could be moving house with new paperwork, or you could begin a new writing or teaching project, or you could be redefining how you communicate or show up with your family, or receiving important news about new career directions, etc. Remember that we're in the active window now, but to a lesser degree, this is unfolding for the next 6 months. Okay, let's get your quick message. Your message is courage. You're being asked to be fearless with something. There's also, again, there's a recurring theme here of maybe how you're communicating or standing up for something with family, right? Maybe how you're dealing with family trauma, family baggage, wounds that maybe you've blamed your family with for so long, but now need self-accountability, or showing up for hard things happening in your family now with strength, with fierceness, with courage. Part of these changes in how you're thinking and showing up and communicating are requiring strength and asking you to be bold and to really embody yourself, and to not tighten or hold back on your throat chakra and all things that have to be communicated in that sense. All right. Thank you, Leo. Sorry. Thank you, Cancer. And I will see you in the next video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the description box below in the comment section. All right. Ciao. Hello, Leo, and welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. You're going to want to watch the intro that goes all into this eclipse, why it's important, how it's going to be affecting you and the collective. Well, this is, of course, mainly for you, but the timing, the timing of it, the story, it goes into the Virgo Pisces story, more, that sandwich story, all the aspects affecting this, etc. And the timing. Did I mention timing? I think I did, maybe 4 times now. Okay, so for you, this is bringing a fated new beginning and a lot of beautiful energy, even if it is coming with some type of lesson or purge or something to do with your second house, which is money, possessions, values, self-worth, stock, real estate, assets, the tie to your self-worth and self-esteem and how you value yourself, and your net worth, your real estate, your assets, stocks, trading, etc. And so you're having a fated reset beginning in how you earn money, spend money, and value yourself, and also what you own and your total, everything I keep saying. So old financial patterns or self-worth habits could be ending, clearing the way for more sustainable foundations. And because this is the second new moon in Virgo in 1 month, the first one was August 23rd. To learn more about what I call the Virgo Pisces sandwich story, please watch the intro. The themes around income, budgeting, and self-esteem are intensified. So what started in late August as an idea or an experiment now crystallizes into a turning point or a choice that could stick. Maybe also it could have been like an opportunity or around there, and then here you're getting the reward for it. Maybe it could be something popped up around there, disappeared, and then pops up again. Maybe it could mean, again, something started here, crystallizing, etc., and then now it turns into like full solid form, etc. Or you take a next step to take it. Or in some cases, it could also be something starting, and then that cycle comes up to either take it to the next level or to sort of end it. But there's this link between the timing of the first Virgo new moon and the second one. And this eclipse is part of this Virgo Pisces sandwich story that I go more into in the intro. So on the 7th to 8th of September eclipse in Pisces that happened in your 8th house could have revealed truth around shared resources, shared finances, debts, traumas, intimacy, your own worst demons, inheritance, passion, partnership, that somehow are playing a part with this new beginning that has to do with self-worth, assets, money, home, values, what you value. This could even be like shift in value. I used to value money and material things. Now what that looks like to me is love and devotion, for example. I'm not saying that about myself. I mean, well, of course, I do really value love and devotion, if you can't pick up on that. But I mean, I'm giving an example of what this looks like for you, what this could look like. This could also be learning about learning about the energetic tie between love and sex and money, which in spirituality is a very, very big tie. This could also be healing a lot of sexual themes, because in the way, the 8th house is about a higher frequency of sex and the divine and devotion and the merging of souls, right? And that soul contract and soul entanglement. And the 2nd house grounds it back to earth. And it's really about it in a carnal sense. So it could be this, if it's not the money things for you, it could be kind of a spiritual, sexual healing revolution highlight, new sexual beginning that is also happening as well. It's overall about clarifying what belongs to you, what belongs to others, and how those dynamics shape your security, what you want, and what that vision is between the two. Now, because Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 3rd house, this can somehow connect all these finance, self-worth, asset stories to communication, contracts, local environment. Some of you could be buying a new car. Some of you could be buying courses or hiring mentors or having conversations or getting some kind of, having intellectual breakthroughs when it comes to money negotiations, signing agreements, or stocks, assets, real estate, etc. And there's a kind of urgency and decisiveness to a lot of the change happening here, and to a lot of these maybe conversations, courses, contracts that could be pushing you to take bold stances around your self-worth, your investment, your finances, your real estate, etc. And with the opposition from Saturn retrograde in Pisces, as well as Neptune in Aries, you're seeing a lot of things to do with karmic lessons and accountability that are emerging when it comes to shared finances, taxes, debts, or intimate partnerships, etc. Saturn is demanding somehow maturity and responsibility somehow, and pushing you to clarify boundaries in that sense. Whereas Neptune is bringing a collective new beginning in your worldview, your education, your spiritual path, your something to do, for some people, something international, for some people, something to do with getting a mentor, which is somehow influencing and causing a rebalance of your finances, your real estate, your values, your assets, your net worth, etc. And it's influencing your links to your values and your income that are tied to somehow your broader life vision. With how Uranus and Pluto are playing a part of this eclipse here, you could be having sudden breakthroughs or surprises in your friendships, your networks, or your community goals that could support changes in your financial or value systems. For some of you, transformations in your partnerships and what marriage partnership means to you, in your contracts and your business partnerships, could be directly impacting your self-worth, your values, your net worth, etc. This could also mean new clients coming in that make you a lot of money if you're somewhat client oriented. Now, you could be renegotiating financial contracts. This is a time you could be ending debt cycles and starting a new financial chapter for yourself. You could be clarifying resources with a partner. You could be launching a new income stream. You could be shifting your self-worth through education or investing in creative or romantic project. Because of all maybe changes you've done in the past, discipline you've had, healing you've done, you could suddenly be making a lot more money and open a new abundance chapter for yourself. That's it, Leo. If you have any questions, or I'd also love to know which part resonated. Oh, Leo, I almost forgot. Let's pull your card. Actually, hang on one sec. Ooh, Leo, there's a message for you of healing the heart, something, partnership for you right now at this time, or heart overall, emotions, etc. Self-love is something that really needs to be healed as well. Self-confidence, there's an effect of that here. Maybe you're not showing up in a true, authentic self when it comes to relating to others or showing your emotional layers, because you need your heart to be healed more. There's also a message here about needing to reconnect to your heart chakra and your heart space, drop down from the head to the heart, and that will unlock a lot of this abundance and growth, both growth in the internal and the external for you. Okay, Leo, that's all for today. And if you have anything at all, please leave it in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hello, Virgos, lovely Virgos, Virgos risings, Virgo suns, Virgo moons. This eclipse for you, don't forget also to watch the beginning of this video, because it will go very into it. And because this is an eclipse in Virgo and it's a new moon eclipse in Virgo, a lot of the collective part is going to also really apply to you. So it's going to be really like an additional layer. So really go back and watch that. Truly, 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 very strongly recommend it for you. And it will give you details also on timing, things like that, etc. Virgo, this is a solar eclipse, a new moon eclipse happening in your sign. Now, the more planets you have, if you have any other planets around Virgo, the closeness as well to either your ascendant, if you're a rising, to your sun, to any other placements, your moon. By the way, this is conjuncting. I'm a Virgo moon. This is conjuncting my moon and my Venus. Anyway, that is going to make this even a bigger deal for you. This eclipse is like your birthday and your new year combined, which in astrology, right, your birthday actually triggers, that's a solar return. It is like your new year, which is why I said that. But this energy for you of the new beginnings and the emphasis of you is truly combined in terms of its importance and the life-changing aspect here. And the themes around this time frame for you, Virgo, are not just lasting, oh, the 7-day eclipse window, the 1-month eclipse window, the window from August to October. No, this is not even 6 months. This is the entire year, right? This is a defining moment for you for the entire year. This year, because this is an eclipse, this year is a very big year for you. And a lot of the indication of the direction of that is going to be shown from things that have happened from August to October. Defining moments, lessons in your entire year, but because this is in your first house of self, defining moments in your entire life are happening this year, and a lot of them are being dictated from August to October. And a lot of this, because it's the first house, could be internal, but when I say internal, massive internal change. There's no way you won't see this externally within the next year, honestly, maybe within this month, within this week, within this time frame, but there's a big thing in internal changes that you cannot go back from. Right? This is very big for you. This is a fated reset in how you see yourself, how others see you, how you show up. Old versions of your identity are being killed. I don't mean to use that verbiage. I was just in storyteller dramatic mode. For those of you who don't know, I also write. But really, are being, like, what I mean is those old versions are falling away. That's said in a little bit more of a peaceful way. And you're stepping into new versions, new cycles of expression, of embodiment. And because this is the second Virgo new moon in 1 month, hang on, I'm freezing. The first, think back to around August 23rd, week building up. You could have had an initial reset of identity or self-image in August that could have been triggered from some relationship stuff that happened around that time before because of the axis. And now you're coming at the 29th, the anaretic, the karmic degree. It's bringing this amplification, either a closure or an anchoring of a new identity or an amplification of that energy. Things that popped up around that time, basically just think of all of August without having to explain the nuance in astrology. But things that popped up around this time can resurface right now, or can really hone in on, okay, what was the lesson here? The lesson is popping up again, or can come to some kind of a chapter ending, a release, a transmutation of the energy, or some kind of anchoring, like I said, an anchoring point or a closure. Since this eclipse is happening with that new moon and the Pisces eclipse in the middle, which was activating some kind of relational internal purge, right? There is really big illuminations, truths, pushes, lessons, especially because Saturn retrograde opposing this eclipse is also hitting your relationship house. So many things happening for you to do with relationship, partnerships, and how it relates to you. Focus is coming back to you. Who are you becoming in terms of these relationship revelations that some could be having internally, some could be having externally? What does it mean to you? How are you showing up? How are you really being truthful to yourself? How are you running away? How are you allowing things you shouldn't allow? For some people, the lesson will be, where am I the issue? For other people, the lesson will be, where are they the issue? And I've been allowing it, which still makes you the issue. But in either way, there's a new beginning here. Like, you've suddenly realized, for some people, oh wow, I have made some
I have been blocking a lot of beautiful relationship things from happening. Let me go and fix that right now. And let this be a change so it never happens again. And this is birthing a new identity. For other people, it's, oh, wow, I can't believe I wanted that person when they were really taking advantage of me. They were really not right for me. And I was settling for whatever reason. And let me make sure this never happens again. And I now see what they actually were instead of them being on a pedestal. And now I am birthed with this new identity, a new level of self-confidence, self-esteem, self-embodiment that I've never had before, and I'll never go back from here. And this could bring new beginnings in your entire life, resonating in how you look, how you feel, how you carry yourself, who's in your life, where you are, because of this. Okay? If I'm talking too fast, just remember that you can adjust the speed and slow it down, because ain't nobody got time for that, as a wise woman once said. All right. Yes. And with the ruler of this eclipse, Mercury, being in Libra, your second house, this is tying your identity shift directly to money, possessions, self-worth. Conversations about finances or contracts could really, or assets or stocks, real estate. Excuse me. I hope the AC is not getting me sick. I don't normally AC. All right. Okay. So, things to do, communications, conversations, learnings, changes to do with real estate, stocks, income, money, finances, self-worth, groundedness, your own values. You could be having a shift in your values. Maybe you valued all those things more and you're rebalancing that. They can somehow change how you assert yourself in relationships or assert yourself in your own life, or how you view yourself and your own value. There's a sense of urgency around self-worth, financial value related to money and to other aspects of life matter that is feeling you push to take a bold step to reclaim or walk away from dynamics that no longer serve. There's also karmic lessons that are arriving to you through partnership. Right now, Saturn here is requiring you to have accountability in how you show up in relationships. You're getting a lot of lessons. So if you've been, if you're an avoidant, for example, you're getting lessons right now. This is a karmic time for you to stop and to purge all those behaviors that are causing you to block love. If you are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and if you always have poor boundaries and ignore what you actually really want, and there's some disconnect with who you really are and what you've been expecting, requiring, wanting in love, Saturn is teaching you these lessons, and relationships are serving as a mirror and showing you what needs to shift in your identity. And then with Neptune and Aries in your 8th house as well, opposing this eclipse, there's a new spiritual and collective energy that is entering the arena of intimacy, passion, sex, soul merging, soulmate energy, especially with the combination that your 7th house is getting activated. And you could feel a raw inspiration to merge more authentically with others, or conversely, to separate from illusions of what you still need to heal, and to heal a lot of that. You could also be having sudden changes in your career, reputation, or public roles that support this identity reset, and that could positively affect how you show up in relationships. Unexpected opportunities or shifts in direction could open new paths forward. You could also, with the effect of Pluto here, that earlier was about Uranus, there could be transformation in your work, health, or daily routine that strengthens this new identity. You could take on more empowered roles in service or in work settings. There could be some kind of shift in health that also has a positive effect that you see in your body, and shift in your daily routine that positively affects your appearance or something like that. So right now you could be having a heightened awareness of your body, your appearance, restlessness around identity shifts, craving for recognition, things coming up and haunting you when it comes to do with love, lessons to do with love, lots of things to do with partnership, things, a lot of demons coming up for you to heal and transmute. This could manifest in very long-term lasting changes in your appearance and how you look and how you carry yourself. Your career direction could shift to better reflect your authentic self. Lessons in relationship that have been trying to get to you for a while finally make an imprint in yourself, your psyche, your soul, and you could be feeling called to changes you've had internally. Healing a lot of these blocks in the self can cause you to make positive strides in relationships that could turn into marriage, life partnership that is really like a soul merging. You could start a new health or self-care routine. You could end cycles of people pleasing. You could be claiming new leadership roles. Okay, Virgo, let's do your card pull. Virgo, for you, there's a message here of intuition. You are being asked to trust what is coming through to you in downloads. You're having moments of clairvoyance or claircognizance, moments of moments of intuition or spiritual psychic direction that could be coming in the form of inspiration, dreams, feelings, or things that are haunting your psyche, memories coming up. And in order, you have to trust more, and what that requires is dropping into the heart instead of the head. There's the Piscean part of your chart, the opposition, right? You trust your intuition when it comes to relationship, and that lies in the body, not in the mind. The mind harbors fear, the mind harbors doubts, and that's what will take you away from the truth of things. The truth of things are when you step away from fear, doubt, scarcity, etc., and that's where the truth lies. Okay, Virgo, happy Virgo New Year. Happy New Year to your whole identity. This is not even a new year, it's a new birth because of the eclipse nature and the double Virgo new moon. And I definitely would love to hear from you in the comments. And I will see you in the next video. And in the next video, you will be basically a new human. Actually, I'm not sure when the next video will be. But at least 4 videos from now, you will be a new human. Okay, take care. See you. Hi Libra, suns, moons, and risings. This eclipse lands in your 12th house of endings, rest, spirituality, dreams, the unconscious, the relationship with the divine, healing, mental health, spiritual awakening as well to certain extents. Sorry. So for you, I've been talking a lot. Need a break? Okay, so for you, and how, by the way, how it will affect you may change too, depending on the degree of it, the intensity on if it's your sun, moon, or rising, etc. So please be sure to listen to your others, and also listen to the beginning, because that'll give you deeper interpretation in terms of how to understand and what to expect for this eclipse. For you, a fated new cycle begins when it comes to really your mental health, your inner world, your healing, your connection to the divine, to the spiritual, to the emotional, to your psyche, to all of that. This could be after you've had karmic closures, after you've had a reset in how you relate to solitude, to healing, to spiritual connection. And because this is the second Virgo new moon in 1 month, the first one was August 23rd, you're really experiencing sort of a double layer of this. It could be a double layered release, a double layered new beginning. And why do I keep saying release even though it's a new moon? It's because of the South Node impact, because of the way that it's opposing Saturn retrograde, because of the nature of how both how the eclipse, the full moon eclipse before this sat on the north, this one sits on the south. So, what could have began as a subtle spiritual or psychological insight in late August can now come back to you again, or can hit a new step, or close a cycle, or anchor a new foundation, or etc. There's some kind of a story here of something in August connecting to something happening to you now, right? And that's what I call the Virgo Pisces sandwich, because we had the Pisces lunar eclipse in between 2 Virgo new moons on the side. I go into more of that at the start. But with the Piscean effect, there's some kind of reveal here how things to do with changes, revelations, endings to do with how your daily work life looked, maybe health upheavals, maybe daily routines that maybe were present towards the earlier of the month are somehow tied to your inner life, your mental health, your spiritual health, your connection to spirit, to God, to the subconscious. There's a balance between sacred retreat, learning to be alone, isolation, healing, and the body, health, over work, daily routine, work life, etc. That is being highlighted for something for you to learn there. And with Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse in Libra, your first house, this ties the eclipse and the new beginning, the newness that comes with it, directly to your identity, your body, yourself, how you present yourself. And even though the eclipse is hidden in your 12th house, your outer expression, how you're carrying yourself, how you look, how other people are perceiving you, how you're perceiving other people will reflect a lot of these inner shifts. A lot of you could be having like a spiritual awakening, very deep spiritual moments, a lot of intuitive downloads, etc. And then with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, as well as Neptune in Aries opposing this eclipse, it's bringing in things to do with accountability, responsibility, and commitment with that same space of your body, your health routines, your work, your service that Pisces was highlighting, into how that's affecting your spiritual, psychological, and mental health. And with the Aries part, this is kind of talking about how partnerships, how, the tie between relationships, partnerships, marriage, contracts, clients could have with your spiritual self, with your, with your mental health, with your inner world, with your ability to be alone. So this suggests that new relationship energy, positive relationship energy, the relationships of your dreams can only thrive if you, with this new spiritual beginning that is happening in your life, your new mental health beginning, if you release outdated subconscious patterns, etc. There could also be sudden changes in travel with Uranus in your chart, sudden changes in travel, education, beliefs, life philosophies and really another further indication of spiritual awakening that are really, really there's a big vibe here. If you're like, oh, Petra, I just said my real name. Oh, Phoenician Priestess. I've already gone through a spiritual awakening. This is the next level. There's a deepening here, maybe psychic things coming online, etc. But this is really, there's a combination of, it's not just internal in my mind, in my spiritual routine, and my connection to God, but it's affecting worldview, etc. And with the Plutonian effect that's creating this grand trine here with Uranus, this finger of God, right? There's a deep transformation too in creativity, romance, connection with your inner child, true embodiment of the self, true expression of the self that are serving as catalysts for this spiritual development and for this internal healing. So yeah, you could be feeling increased need for solitude, increased sensitivity, fatigue, and whole nervous system body malfunction when you ignore it. You could be feeling like, you could be leaving behind draining work or health habit. You could be entering therapy, having breakthroughs there. You could be hiring a coach, therapist, astrologer, priest, shaman, mentor, whatever, someone that helps create that space for you, that really has some big impact. You could be beginning meditation or journaling and having a big breakthrough. You could be pulling away from groups or spiritually resetting. You could be going to a spiritual retreat. But even if it seems like things that are small, this time frame is having a lasting impact on your connection with the divine, your mental health, your healing, and your view of the world, which will thus then impact your sense of self and your relationships, etc. And remember that this effect will unfold. This is the heightened period, but it's a story for the next 6 months. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to know how things showed up for you and what part was relevant. Please leave that in the comments below. And my dear Libras, I will see you in the next video. Libras, I realized I forgot to do your card. Ooh, divine feminine. So this, and even if you're a masculine listening to this, this is then more about stepping into this. I'm interpreting it in two ways. Either if you're a masculine and divine feminine is playing a strong part in some of these things unfolding, or some of these, or you're being drawn to one, or there's something here about union with the divine feminine. And if you are divine feminine listening to this, this could be about stepping into a lot of your divine feminine self. For both of you, it's calling here for deeper connection to emotion, to intuition, and to receptivity, and to connection to the divine through that, through worship, through nurturing, through feeling. A message coming through to a lot of signs. Stepping more into the heart space from the head, right? The analyzing, the logic is the very masculine associated. Step more into the heart, into that. And Libra is naturally Libra's ruler is Venus. And Venus is the goddess of love and beauty and the goddess of the divine feminine. So you're being asked to be in tune with that nature of yourself, to the Libran nature, to the nature of justice and love and feelings and union and partnership. Where are you running away from those things? Or where is lack of healing and a spiritual philosophy that doesn't align keeping you blocked from that? And this is also talking about new beginnings here. This could be a new beginning with a woman. And if you are a woman, interpret that however you want. And if you are a feminine, this could be a new beginning within how you relate to your own femininity and stepping into a higher form of your divine femininity. Okay, Libra, catch you later. Hello, Scorpio, Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, Scorpio moons. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. For more info, please watch the intro. We'll go into timing and a lot of the themes, aspects, transits, as well as collective predictions and personal level collective predictions on the intro. So for you, dear Scorpios, this is landing in your 11th house of long-term dreams, long-term goals, friendships, networks, communities, soul tribes, etc. And so this is bringing a fated new beginning, a fated new cycle, a fated new start, a fated new chapter in all of this, in your social world, your soul tribe, your alliances, the visions you hold for the future, your dreams as well. So old friendships or group affiliations may fall away because of the fact that the North Node is in the opposing sign. And you could be clearing space for new communities aligned with your growth. You could meet someone or a soul tribe that is incremental to your feeling of belonging. You could make new strides in a long-term dream that you've held. And because this is the second new moon in Virgo in 1 month, this one, though, is the eclipse. The first one was just a regular new moon that happened on August 23rd. Think back to overall August. What seeds were planted there? What new ideas did you start to have? What new beginnings or new people did you meet? What new internal shifts started to echo and kind of resonate? And this, to do with soul tribe, community, friendships, future planning, dreams, etc., that are now coming up again, or coming up stronger, or anchoring, or solidifying, or closing some kind of a loop to open a new one. And this effect of what I call the Virgo Pisces sandwich, which you can listen to more about in the intro, had, because we had this Piscean eclipse, the full moon eclipse in the middle around September 7th, sandwich between these two Virgo new moons, but with also Saturn retrograde taking place in that same Pisces house for you, and Saturn retrograde is now opposing this eclipse. This is further highlighting the 180-degree axis that Virgo and Pisces is for you. And so this is highlighting a lot of themes and lessons and shifts and new beginnings and endings and purgings in this time frame right now for you that have to do with romance, creativity, children, your inner child, self-expression, hobbies, your true self, your self-embodiment, your sense of self, etc. And how does that relate to your long-term dreams, your long-term goals, your sense of belonging, to your community, to your service, to your soul tribe, and to another extent, also technology, social media, how you show up there. So there's some sort of, shift and lesson in how your joy and creativity maybe are shared with your communities and long-term goals. How are you not embodying your true self? How is that affecting who you think your soul tribe are? Where do you need to express yourself more? Maybe you start a new hobby and it brings in new friendships and a new soul tribe. Maybe your community introduces you to something that becomes a passion of yours. Maybe your community introduces you to a new romance, a new fling that you meet through friends. Maybe you start focusing on creation and creating music, creating a book, creating a podcast, creating a YouTube channel, creating a business, creating a clothing business, whatever it is, creating knitting, sewing, some kind of creation hobby, and it takes a step forward, a new beginning, a new chapter in the dream you've always had of being a musician or being a poet, etc. You get the idea of how to apply this. And because Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in your 12th house of Libra, this is somehow linking all of these belonging, soul tribe, group, long-term dream themes with your subconscious, with your connection to the divine, with God, with intuition, with spirituality, with solitude, with hidden patterns. There could be conversations happening behind the scenes, conversations happening with yourself, or endings of hidden dynamics that could somehow be shaping friendships or communities. Maybe you have a spiritual awakening or spiritual moment, or an increase in your spirituality that makes you want to find a more spiritual community or tribe, or makes it harder for you to fit in with a lot of them, or that changes your long-term dream or vision or goal, etc. Maybe you heal a lot with a therapist or a coach and you have this breakthrough and it changes how you show up in terms of soul tribe, etc. Or it paves the way to making a dream come true. And then with Saturn in Pisces that is opposing this eclipse again from the 5th house, it's asking you to get serious about all of those 5th house themes we talked about embodying yourself, embodying your truth, committing to aspects of yourself. And that is one of the keys necessary to unlock your feeling of belonging and to unlock making your dream come true. And there's also this new collective wave that's beginning in your work, your health, your service, your physical body life that is somehow also positively impacting how you're showing up amongst people and how and how you're aligning with the right people as well. And then, with that was talking about the Saturn Neptune effect, but now let's talk a little bit about the Uranus Pluto, finger of God, kite, grand trine effect. So you could be having unexpected breakthroughs in healing intimacy, healing trauma, and intimacy and passion and sensuality, in shared resources, in investment, in transmuting dark aspects of the self, and connecting with spirituality, the esoteric, the occult, that are somehow supporting your long-term goals, or reshaping how you connect with others, or reshaping your need to recalibrate what a soul tribe means, and having a new beginning there. At the same time, you could be having deep changes or transformation in home, family life, ancestral life, your living situation, who you live with, where you live, that can somehow ripple and affect your community, social world, and long-term goals. This could be a relocation, a family shift, or ancestral healing that could, reshape what that means to you. So overall, you could be having realizations about and clarity about who drains you in terms of friendships, who uplifts you. You could be having heightened awareness of your future goals, sensitivity in social settings if your boundaries are weak, or if you desire deeper alignment. You could be meeting a new group of people that causes you to let go of an old one, or joining a new community or network that changes your life, or launching a collaborative project, or shifting goals for the future, or receiving unexpected support through shared resources, balancing romance or children with social responsibilities, or further embodying your true self and really expressing your true self. Okay, Scorpio, let's do your card pull. Scorpios, you're asking to connect more to the spiritual and the divine in prayer, and in gratitude, and in appreciation. Some of you could have been going through a very hard time right now, and are questioning a lot about your long-term dreams, and who you put around you. And in some ways, you actually may not realize how, up until this moment, part of what's been being purged is purging you to further align you to your true self, to embody your true self, and to connect you with the divine in a way that you haven't been embodied with before. And to ground back to feeling connected to the spiritual, to yourself, is appreciation, gratitude, prayer, and focusing in on what may have needed to purge was what brought you closer to further alignment in embodying yourself, embodying your truth, doing things you love, romance, and in your social circles, your community, your sense of chosen family, and your long-term dreams. If you have any questions, or any, would love to hear how this resonated with you, please leave that in the comments. And Scorpios, by the way, did I mention I love Scorpios? One of my favorite signs, and I think they get so much slack, for no reason. Well, not no reason, but I think it's overemphasized, the reasons. Okay, anyway, drop that below, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao. Hi, Sag Sun, Sag Moon, Sag Risings. I should have actually started Sag Rising, Sag Sun, Sag Moons, because that is the order you should listen to it in. Welcome to your Virgo Solar Eclipse forecast. My nose is a bit blocked, so I apologize if I talk fast, because my oxygen level is cut a bit shorter today. Okay, so please listen to the beginning, where I go into lots of detail, timing, aspects, transits, collective forecasts, mundane, etc., all there. But for you, this is bringing a faded new beginning in your career, your reputation, your public role, your life direction, etc., and the way you're seen publicly, your leadership levels, your understanding of fulfillment, purpose, etc. You could be one or all of those. So that means that old roles or career structures could end, or new chapters of visibility and responsibility is opening. This is a new moon, mainly about new beginnings, almost always. But because of the fact that the North Node is in an opposing sign, and because of this Pisces Virgo sandwich, which I talked about before, and because of the opposition to Saturn retrograde, which is in the sign of Pisces, where we had the last eclipse, there is a feeling of things you've been purging that has led to this new beginning. Maybe there's some stuff you still need to purge to lead to the new beginning. There's a theme of, of intertwining of the newness and the kind of recalibration or purging that is somehow combined, right? And so I'll kind of be talking to a little bit of both. And also, even though this is a new moon eclipse, but there was another Virgo new moon non-eclipse that happened on August 23rd, creating what I call the Virgo Pisces sandwich, because we had the Pisces full moon in between. More about that in the intro. But because of this, you're kind of experiencing a double activation of these career themes. So August could have been a big career month for you. It could have just been internal, though. For some of you, it could have been external. But like what I mean is these themes would have started or taken a big step in August, and now it's a bigger step, or re-emerging, or going to the next level, or layering on top of each other, or being anchored even further, or even coming to some kind of closure, depending on which one of those you are. And with the Pisces Virgo eclipse sandwich story, a lot of this is affecting questions of what is my work-life balance like? How is this affecting my family, home, and roots? Maybe positive, maybe negative. This could be leading to a new beginning in where you're living or where you're spending a lot of time, right? Etc. There's some kind of a dialogue or effect here of a tie with career, life purpose, family, home, how I relate to that, work, etc. And it could have just been an activation going back and forth, even if it's not tying it with the story. Meaning, now I'm really focused about career. This new thing just happened. Oh my God, family stuff is coming up. Okay, back to career. Oh my God, how is this, this kind of back and forth. And because Mercury, ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 11th house, this is, and Mars is also there at the anaretic degree. This ties your career shifts directly to feelings of belonging, groups, networks, people around you, reevaluation of your long-term goals, your dreams, new beginnings here, etc. So you could be having important conversations or negotiations with colleagues, allies, communities that can somehow shape or new wants, right? Or new dreams that are somehow shaping how you either think, live, or bringing a new beginning into your professional trajectory. Now, we also, like I said, this eclipse is opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces and Neptune in Aries at the same time. So this is bringing a certain level of accountability, karmic lessons, responsibility around family, relationship with the mother, home, roots that are somehow could be restructuring how you think of career, purpose to accommodate all of that, or balancing it some way. Or it's just Saturn asking you for maturity in how you manage these two different pillars of life. With the Neptunian effect on you here, there could be a new collective wave of inspiration that's beginning in creativity, romance, children for you. Maybe some of you are suddenly deciding, wait, I may want kids. And this starts to affect how you think about career, etc. Maybe some of you are realizing a new passion, or maybe some of you want to be entrepreneurial or embody yourself more. And it either affects what you do with your career, new beginnings there, or how you show up, etc. And with the Uranus and Gemini, as well as Pluto and Aquarius kite grand trine here that is also affecting this eclipse harmoniously, you could have unexpected developments in relationships, serious partnerships that you're thinking, wow, this can lead to marriage, that suddenly support your career reset or have a positive effect on it, or making you rethink, how is this going to translate to my career, right? This could also mean a new business partnership or a relational breakthrough or new clients that open door professionally. You could also be having deep transformation in how you communicate, how you study, how you think, that how you speak, how you teach, how you write. Maybe you do a new course, maybe you receive a new message that affects your career positively. Some of you could be doing a new project that gives you more recognition. Some of you could be getting a new promotion. Some of you could be renegotiating where you live with your employer, family, career, life balance, or now with the entrance of different passions, different levels of embodiment, different focus on family, perhaps children, perhaps relationship, rethinking how that all fits with your old vision of career and your old sense of where you should live and where you belong, etc. Okay. Sag, any other questions and relevances? This is indicating new beginnings in a lot of those paces of life being driven here. And so this is an exciting time for you. Let's do your cards. Like I said, any questions you can leave in the comments below. Ooh, Sag, this time from August to October is ushering a new rebuilding of your world, a new expansion. You're going to be networking more. You're going to be creating more. You're going to be expanding more. And your life, indeed, your whole world is going to start looking very, very different. This could be focused just on the realm of career, but what the cards are saying here is it's much bigger than that. Your overall life right now is going through an expansion. So things you're being asked to purge, to get serious about, to take self-responsibility and accountability in, are helping you to build and create. But also you've had a lot of new beginnings, and you will continue to have new beginnings, either if it's internal or external, that are creating and shifting a whole new reality around you. Okay, Sag, catch you in the next video. Hi Capricorns, Capricorn risings, Capricorn suns, Capricorn moons. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. Please watch the intro where I go up into timing, degrees, aspects, collective predictions, both personal and mundane, transits, and all the different things I'm considering for your forecast there, as well as things you do not want to miss. We will be doing a tarot pull for a quick message at the end. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So this eclipse, this new moon eclipse, although the North Node is in the opposing signs, South Node is in Virgo, but it is still bringing new beginnings, although because of the Virgo Pisces sandwich, which I explained more in the intro, where we've had 2 Virgo new moons in between a Pisces full moon eclipse. This is like bringing a back and forth of a lot of new beginnings that have been trickled in between layers of purging, and different types of endings. But for you, there's a fated new beginning, a fated new cycle, a fated seed being planted in terms of either travel, foreignness, abroadness, higher learning, publishing, writing, philosophy, spirituality. So for some of you, this could look like an absolutely new rebirth in terms of your spirituality and your worldview. You could have had your worldview totally shaken up, your spirituality totally shaken up, how you see the world works, how you see spirituality, politics, religion, all of it, how it all melts together, your belief systems somehow expand beyond your immediate environment in totally new ways. Old frameworks of thinking dissolve, a new chapter begins. For some of you, you could be starting a new program like master's, bachelor's, PhD, or for some of you, you could be hiring an astrologer, a spiritualist, a shaman, or working with a priest, getting some kind of a spiritual mentor or a new mentor. Some of you could be moving abroad, traveling abroad, signing up for a retreat abroad, exploring other spiritualities, exploring other lands, other places, traveling. Well, I already said that a few times. Some of you could be getting a job offer abroad, doing an internship abroad, some kind of co-ops abroad, etc. Some of you could be publishing a book, working with a publisher, writing, doing some courses, this is also the house that rules writers and publishers. Hello, reporting for duty. And so this could be bringing a new chapter in terms of all of that. And like I said, because this is the second new moon in Virgo, some of these seeds would have been planted in August. New beginnings could have started to emerge there, and in the form of new opportunities coming there, or your mind started to go there. It could have been internal, like thoughts, and then now it's crystallizing, or it's just the theme did pop up in August, now it's popping up again, but stronger. We're transmuting to the next level, or something is circling back around to something that started in August. And because we had that Pisces sandwiched in the middle, the Pisces full moon eclipse, there could have been a big purge earlier to do, or a big revelation or an ending that had to do with truths or changes in how you speak, write, connect, or to do with a communication you received, or siblings, or way of thinking, or a contract, or a course, something here that is now ushering in this new beginning that this eclipse in Virgo is bringing. And because Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 10th house, this is tying a lot of these changes that I described to somehow career, public image, etc. So what this could look like is maybe you have an important work conversation or contract or negotiation that could emerge as a result of your new education, like maybe graduating from a certain program, or a new learning, or hiring the new mentor, or from traveling abroad, or going to that retreat, or having the spiritual change, etc. Or that change in career is what leads to some kind of a change in the other realm here that we just mentioned. And, you know, with the effect of Saturn and Neptune also opposing this eclipse, you could be having a new collective wave that's also somehow affecting how and where you live, your home and family life, etc. That could be pulling you towards a spiritual, healing, higher perspective connection to your roots, to your family, to where you live, that redefines your living space or connecting more deeply with your family. And somehow this continues to shift a lot of your worldview. You could also, and a lot of accountability and lessons and focus could be around how you communicate, study, contract, or intellectualize, or what you put out into the world. That could be affecting your overall big worldview. Like maybe you're feeling pushed to communicate your new spirituality, your new philosophy, your new political worldview changes online somehow, somewhere, or that could be something that is playing in your mind a lot. And with the effect of this, Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, grand trine, kite, finger of God, that's what it's called, situation happening that is tying it through a harmonious trine to the eclipse. You could also have sudden breakthroughs in your work or in your health or in your daily routine that somehow pushed you to either go and travel. Like maybe you had a health scare, so you do a yoga retreat. Maybe you had a health scare, so you become more spiritual. Maybe starting yoga as a daily routine thing for your physical body led to some spiritual change. Maybe something that happened in your work life has decided maybe your daily work life was so intense, you decided to go back, do an MBA and to do something else. So there's some kind of unexpected changes in service, schedules, routine, health, daily life that somehow led to this change in your ninth house related topics. And with the Gemini aspect here, and with the Pluto aspect here, they could have also been led by things to do with money, stock, real estate, assets, etc. that supported long-term goals, long-term visions, long-term worldviews, travel, etc. So overall, there could be new teaching opportunities for some, deciding to relocate abroad for others, beginning higher study, letting go of rigid beliefs, shifting career based off new philosophy or where you live based off a new philosophy, restructuring contacts that tie into your education or travel goals, publishing new writing projects, hiring new mentors or new spiritual people. Let's do a card pull for you. Oh, unexpected. This message will resonate with everyone, but it may resonate with some of you. Some of you, a lot of these changes may have to do or not do or leading on a path down towards being reunited with your divine union, your twin flame, something to do with love here. If you already have one, it could be affecting them somehow or tied to them somehow or tied to that journey somehow. And if you haven't, a lot of these changes have been necessary. A lot of the things you've purged, a lot of the new beginnings right now are necessary in order to support the union or reunion with your divine union, your twin flame, your soul partner, your eternal connection. If you don't have one, this is an indication that things happening within the next 6 months, indeed, perhaps even this week, could reunite you or bring someone a new connection like that into you, or you could see that within the next 6 months until the next eclipse cycle, or it's really laying the groundwork for that. There's something here truly about a divine the changes, the new beginnings. One of the things that this new eclipse is bringing for you has to do with divine union, which some would call twin flames, soulmates, the merging of two souls, your soul's life partner, and the coming of you two together. Well, I love ending on that note. And if you have, I'd love to know how this resonated, what was on your mind, which part hit, which part, was it your sun, your moon, your rising? Was it the card? Was it the forecast, etc.? And I'll see you in the next video. Hi Aquarius, Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. Please watch the intro for all the information that you do need to know to fully understand this forecast and how this eclipse is going to be impacting you. This eclipse is landing in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, debts, taxes, investments, deep transformation, healing, and sensuality, as well as connection to the occult and the supernatural. So this is bringing a fated new cycle, a fated new beginning, of something entering your life, in all of those things, and in how you merge with others, either emotionally, spiritually, sexually, or financially. And in terms of what parts of those things you need to heal within yourself, right? Because it's about, the 8th house is a lot of transmutation of the dark into light. So this could mean that new forms of intimacy are taking root, are starting. New forms of financial partnership are starting. New forms of healing are starting. And because this is the second new moon in Virgo happening, the first one was August 23rd. This one is the second, but it's an eclipse, so it's like bigger. These themes are somehow doubled. So think back to things that stirred in August in terms of all these topics, and now how they could be showing up again, or how they could be going to the next level, or how they could be anchoring in, or how could they could be asking for decisive action, or coming to some kind of a closure and new beginning, or really like, starting in that sense. And because of this, I call it the Virgo Pisces sandwich. We had these 2 Virgo new moons and the Pisces full moon eclipse. I talk about it more in the intro. This is really highlighting your overall axis of the 2nd to 8th houses, where you have Virgo and where you have Pisces. And so this could be bringing up a lot of lessons in what's yours versus what's ours, in how, things to do with money's values, self-worth, how they tie in with how you're relating or merging with others, how you're healing, how your demons could be affecting your net worth, self-worth, etc. Changes things to do with, it's kind of bringing clarity into shared financial or emotional entanglements and how that affects self-worth, stability, net worth, etc. And because Mercury, it's a bit hot. Because Mercury, ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra in your 9th house, this ties your financial and intimate reset directly to matters of higher learning, spirituality, worldview, beliefs, travel, etc. What this could mean and look like is that a lot of what's driven maybe in your healing journey and what you're purging, the new beginning in your intimacy, the new beginning in your 8th house topics could have to do with some kind of like a philosophical change or a communication from abroad. This could look like this could look like someone igniting a relationship with a partner who lives in a long distance location. This could look like some change in your life philosophy, or something an astrologer, priest, or shaman tells you that triggers this deep internal healing. This could look like some kind of international legal or educational setting that somehow changed your resources, like maybe in a tax sense, in a loan sense, in a, maybe immigration is causing you to make changes here. This could look like a retreat or a spiritual, whatever happening that causes you to heal more or look more internally, or fixes any emotional, spiritual entanglements you have. This could look like having a spiritual awakening, and it triggers a fascination and deep dive into the occult, things like this. And then with the opposition from Neptune and Saturn to this eclipse, there's accountability that's also arising, then affecting all of this somehow in terms of money, income, and self-worth. Maybe accountability and lessons here will affect your mental health, or affect you, like cause you to somehow look at your demons and start to heal and transmute them. And this opens a whole new financial and spiritual and healing level in you. There's also a collective wave that's beginning for you that's over the long run in terms of how you think and how you intellectualize and communicate. And so this could be bringing hypersensitivity or spiritual inspiration in how you speak and think, and somehow cutting through difficulty, old blocks that you had with healing. And now it's like, that's why you're suddenly having this intensity in healing. For a lot of you, if you've had like any deep rooted traumas, this could be a new chapter where you finally purge them, and that's it. No more looking back or feeling held back by those. This could be starting a new sexual relationship with someone, or a soul merging. If you have a partner, this could be the soul suddenly merge to the next level, right? The commitment deepens to a further level. And then with the effect of Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius creating this grand trine, this kite, this finger of God, as it's called, effect, there could be unexpected developments in romance, creativity, passion, flings, children, embodiment of joy, embodiment of your true self, that, a surprise in love or a creative breakthrough that could change how you merge with others, how you heal, how you transmute, how you understand all these deeper hidden aspects of yourself, and how they reflect in the external and in the merging, either emotionally, sexually, financially, or spiritually. There could also be deep transformation in your identity that is, and how you show up in the world and how you view the world, and in your body and your looks, that empowers your ability to renegotiate, re-understand, and re-experience intimacy or shared resources. If you provided for someone, this could be a new beginning in that. Maybe you start being able to provide more. Or if someone provided for you, maybe you leaned on your parents for some financial support, etc. This could be a new beginning where you no longer need that. This could also be like an indication of you getting a loan that changes your life, or paying off a debt and that changes your life. This could be, all sorts of things to do in this way. You could be ending, like I said, a debt cycle, beginning a joint investment, redefining intimacy in a relationship or within yourself, having breakthroughs when it comes to that, renegotiating inheritance or taxes, entering therapy or deep healing work, or breaking free from financial entanglements that drain you. Okay, let's do your card pull. Oof. This is amazing. So you have a message that one of the new things that this eclipse is bringing in your life is abundance, is fortune, is wealth, is plenty. So if you've been struggling with that for a long time, listen to the messages in this reading and that messages you're getting in terms of intuition, and just know that a lot of the new beginnings that are happening in this time are actually pushing you towards that, or are directly bringing that. You're opening a new chapter of your life where your life is feeling more abundant, where you're having more money, more stability, and more wealth, especially if you're coming from a place of lack. Okay, Aquarius, that's all for today. If you have any comments, hopefully polite ones, and questions that I can help with, any observations of what resonated, what didn't, actually, let's stick to positive. What resonated, or what resonated more than the others, then you can leave it in the in the comment section below, and I will catch you in the next video. Pisces. Hello, Pisces. Pisces suns, Pisces moons, Pisces rising. Welcome to your Virgo solar eclipse forecast. Please watch the beginning as always, but more this time, because all the other stuff like timing, I go into more deeply there. So you're one of the signs that is Pisces and Virgos, right? You two are the ones that are feeling this entire eclipse season the absolute most. You're going to want to watch the last eclipse video to understand perhaps how they're tying together and how this overall season ties together. Now, Pisces, this eclipse lands in our, because I'm a Pisces rising too, house of partnership, marriage, soulmates, contracts, and one-on-one dynamics. This tends to bring love-related things, right? For some of you, it's going to be things to do with legal matters, things to do with new clients, soul-related friendships, connections, even if it's not love, like a soulmate friendship type of deal, as well as business partners. I'm going to focus on the definition of the love marriage meaning, but you can apply all of these same themes to that if you're one of those, right? And you can be getting changes and hits in multiple of these at the same time. But for a lot of you, it could be it's mainly things partnership, marriage, soulmates, so on and so forth. But yes, there's also a theme here of one-on-one dynamics, soul friendships, contracts, business partners. So there is finally a reset, a new seed, a new beginning when it comes to love for you. This is very likely for a lot of you. And here, remember that this is the second Virgo new moon. This one is an eclipse. Let's make this one the new moon. This one is the eclipse. The other one was just a regular new moon. And in the middle, sandwiched in between, was the Pisces full moon eclipse. So this Virgo Pisces sandwich, as I call it, explain more in the beginning, because you are a Pisces. A lot of the collective stuff that I mentioned in the beginning is going to be relevant to you. So really watch that. But this is doubling the relationship themes that are active in your life right now. So seeds that were planted mid to late August in terms of relationships, karmic closure, decisive turning points, agreements, new beginnings, new changes, people that popped up, themes that popped up, emotional realizations and lessons that have to do with love and you and love and someone else popped up in August are somehow re-emerging now. Re-emerging, either anchoring in, re-emerging, either going to the next level, re-emerging as in just boom, re-emerging, like if it was a person and they disappeared and they come back, re-emerging as if it was like an idea that you started to think, man, I don't know, I really want to go on the dating apps. That happened in August. Then bam, now maybe you meet someone. You kind of get the idea. There's something here with the two moon effect, but a purge was required in the middle. Something old had to end. Something had to be let go. Something had to die in order to usher in this new beginning. Now, some of you could have already met this person, or if you've already met them, if you're already dating someone, it could have been to the next level, right? It could be like, oh, I had met them, but now we're dating. It could be, oh, we were dating, or we're a fling, now we're actually dating. It could be, oh, we're dating, but now we defined that we both are seeing each other as long-term. It could be, oh, he proposed. It could be, oh, he got married. So this change in life, some kind of life-changing new beginning applies whether you're single or whether you're not. Now, for a lot of you, the new beginning part, the positive new chapter, could have started as early as August. For some of you, it might not be until the end of October, myself included, right? So what we have to do is not lose hope and not feel like it hasn't worked for you if that's the case. And to a fuller extent, but an extent that all of us don't like to hear and heed, myself included, is that actually eclipses are supposed to a longer extent be a 6-month story. So a lot of the seeds, changes, pieces will fall into place now. You could be getting hits and feelings and things that need to purge, and new beginnings you need to start. Maybe you need to move. Maybe you need to create a dating app profile. Maybe you need to date this guy and it triggers you not dating this guy and meeting another one. Maybe you need to have that argument with your partner, break up, and then you get back together and get engaged. Maybe, I don't know, a lot of the stuff that needs to happen in order to fulfill this coming together of union will be happening in this new beginnings that are coming now, these purgings that are happening now, and may not fully materialize for the next 6 months, or it could be an ongoing theme and big part of your life for the next 6 months. So yes, to a lesser degree, this is a 6-month story, although some energy changes, new beginnings will be active in this time for sure. And a lot of the purging, a lot of the lessons, a lot of what is required to anchor in the positive ending has to do with the lessons that relationships mirrored and taught you to do with yourself, your identity, your boundaries, your body, your values, your self-confidence, how you carry yourself, how you interact with others, how you view others, how others view you, the balance between me and them and what I want and all these things. And, there could be events that illuminated truths about who you are and how you showed up. And now the solar eclipse in Virgo is reflecting this back to you through relationships. And a lot of these changes to identity, the self, maybe even looks for some people were required to reshape the partnerships and new beginnings that you wanted. And because Mercury, ruler of this eclipse, is in Libra, your 8th house, where Mars is also at 29 degrees, this is tying these relationship new beginnings directly to intimacy, shared resources, transformation, sex, healing, passion, soul merging. And because of this 8th house link, it could be, but please do not hold on to this, someone from your past coming forward again and coming back properly. But it could also be someone from a past life coming forward and reigniting that soul contract. But this is bringing this soul level merging beginning. Like this is even more making this about union of two souls, entanglement of two souls, divine union. And there's this beautiful, like magical, divine sexual intertwining, passion intertwining, soul intertwining with all of this as well. For some of you, healing your own demons was required for this to happen, whether it's a reunion or a union, or an elevation of union. For some of you, healing some traumas or sexual things had to happen. For some of you, healing financially had to happen, whether it's paying taxes, paying debt, paying something holding you down, etc., to unlock a lot of this being able to happen. Now we also have this eclipse being opposed by Saturn in retrograde in Pisces, your 1st house, which is amplifying a lot of the lessons that had to do with yourself and relationships, and that relationship with yourself and relationships that is playing a part of this. And you getting serious, like all the lessons you've had about yourself, your boundaries, your self-worth, your body, your this, your that, and you in relationships the last 2 years, show the universe that you learned them now. I'm no longer ignoring what I truly feel. I no longer am ignoring what I want. I'm no longer letting myself getting disrespected. I'm no longer always putting them before me if they're not giving the same back. I am valuing myself. I am putting myself first, putting my dreams first, working on myself, blah, blah, blah. Show the universe that I am serious about this, and then the reward will be coming in the relationship sphere. At the same time, there's also a new wave here beginning in terms of your values, your money, your self-worth. And again, the second house, this is being activated by Neptune and Aries, your sexual healing. People forget a lot. The second house sits on the 8th second axis. 8th house is more about sexuality and sex and passion in the divine sense. And then second house roots, it brings it back to the body, to the carnal, to earth. And this is somehow shaping up how you show in relationships. And for some of you, this could have been, I didn't feel to the finance part, because it's finance and this. Maybe I didn't feel secure. You could think, I didn't feel secure in my self-worth. I didn't feel secure in my money. I didn't feel secure in how much I was making. I didn't feel secure in my assets. I didn't feel secure in my stability. I didn't feel secure in my body. I didn't feel secure in my sexuality. And this negatively impacted relationships. And now there's been this new beginning, this healing, this new wave, this new chapter that happened there. And suddenly it's opened the door for the new beginning coming in the relationship marriage sphere. We also have a grand trine kite, the finger of God effect that's coming with Uranus and Gemini trining this eclipse from your 4th house, and Pluto and Aquarius trining this eclipse from your 12th house. And this could mean unexpected developments in your living situation, your family, or your home, could positively ripple into relationships. So maybe this looks like you moved, and because of that you met someone, or made it easier to continue a relationship. Maybe you're a long distance, so you moved, and where you moved allowed you to date them more. Maybe it means something happened in your family and it makes you realize, oh wow, I'm ready for something serious, etc. And from the Pluto side, it means deep transformation in your subconscious, your spirituality, the connection in the divine, or secrets that emerged, came out, or endings that happened, 12th house, somehow empowered and positively impacted your relationship. You could be confronting fears, karmic baggage, self-sabotaging patterns that positively impacts. You could be finally following your intuition, 12th house, dreams, that leads to a positive thing. Something came out and a secret, and somehow leads to a positive relationship effect, etc. Yeah. So a lot of you could be feeling heightened frustration about things to do with love, relationship, heightened relationship pressure, or suddenly oscillating between, oh my God, I love love, and these lovey-dovey feelings, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm so scared of love, or what if I don't find it, or doubting it, just kind of oscillation back and forth. Karmic themes in partnership could be resurfacing. Thoughts of people from the past could be resurfacing. Stronger boundaries could be being tested. The universe could be putting a lot of things, opportunities, people in your face, but they're not fully right. And it could be testing your boundaries and testing if you've learned the lessons on yourself. And that's important in allowing the right thing to come through. You could be having emotional and mental releases, or energetic tie releases. You could also be feeling body tension in stomach or skin or muscle. Yes, so you could be recommitting to the next level, or entering a fated, life-changing relationship is mainly the main story. And I hope that for you. Let's do your card pull. Your card pull is all about opening up to new connections, and your heart healing, and your heart's light shining. And this is the message. It's just further resonating. And so stay tied to that, Pisces, even if it doesn't feel like that. This is a fated time. And the more you have that is getting, angularly hit by this eclipse, the more this is true for you. And how you're going to know, too, if it's for you, is if you've had other big transits and aspects in other parts of your house and your charts and all this stuff lighting up that are symbolizing love. But love is the big thing that is the new beginning for you with this eclipse. So this is amazing. Congratulations, knock on wood. This is a time for your heart to heal and for you to shine from your heart and step into your heart, even if it feels harder to maintain the faith, etc. And this won't come easy, because Saturn is retrograde, is opposing it. Neptune is opposing it. So be clear of illusions as well. The heart will always guide you. And remember that in order to get to this, you had to unlock a lot of lessons about the self and a lot of lessons for relationships, and that was all worth it in the end. And I bless you and your union that is coming, or has come, or that is going to the next level. And if it is someone from the past, because of these 8th house and South Node themes, and also the Saturn retrograde in opposition to the 1st house themes, then use discernment. I'm not going to sit here and say all X's are X's for a reason, right? Life, astrology, soul contracts, love, humans are more complicated than that. But, right? Discernment. This could be the test, or this could be the person. But paying attention to all of these lessons and all these things that came up will be the indicator of that. Okay, Pisces, let me know what resonated the most, what resonated, tarot versus astrology, ascendant, sun, etc. Which part of the different forecasts stood out to you the most? And I would love to hear that. And I will see you in the next reading.